Hi, this is Pastor Stephen Browers from Emmanuel Lutheran Church with a devotion for this week. This comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 9, and it's a little longer of a passage. I'm going to start reading at verse 20. So it's 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 20. To the Jews I became like a Jew to win the Jews. To those under the law I became like one under the law, though I self am not under the law, so as to win those under the law. To those not having the law, I became like one not having the law, though I am not free from God's law, but am under Christ's law, so as to win those not having the law. To the weak I became weak to win the weak. I have become all things to all men, so that by all possible means I might save some. I do all this for the sake of the gospel, that I may share in its blessings. So that was 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 20 through 23. So I just find this really interesting that the Apostle Paul, his goal, his purpose is to help people to know Jesus Christ so that they might be saved. So what he's saying here is that no matter what their background, whether they're Jewish or whether they're not, whether they're not under God's laws, that they are not a God follower, he wants to be like them to win them over to Jesus Christ. And it reminded me of this really great book. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And I did want to mention, this is not about manipulating people. It's how do you persuade people to listen to Jesus? How do you help them to know him? And this is really interesting. It's in chapter 3. It starts at starts at page 58. And here's what it says, because I think it connects to this scripture passage from 1 Corinthians 9. He starts off by saying, I often went fishing up in Maine during the summer. Personally, I'm very fond of strawberries and cream, but I have found that for some strange reason, fish prefer worms. So when I went fishing, I didn't think about what I wanted. I thought about what they wanted. I didn't bait the hook with strawberries and cream. Rather, I dangled a worm or a grasshopper in front of the fish and said, wouldn't you like to have some of that? Why not use the same common sense when fishing for people? It's really interesting, isn't it? I mean, we talk a lot at church, or I do, about what we want. We want people to come to church, or I want people to grow in their relationship to Jesus. I want people to become more involved at church. I want people to give more, or whatever it is. These are the things we want. But later on, it'll say, why do we talk about what we want? That's childish. Absurd. Of course you're interested in what you want. You're eternally interested in it, but no one else is. The rest of us are just like you. We are interested in what we want. So the only way on earth to influence other people is to talk about what they want and show them how to get it. That's really what this is about. We're not trying to sell Jesus to people. He can sell himself. We want to find out, what are people looking for? Are people looking for meaning in their life? Are people looking for a place to help their children to gain guidance on how to be moral people? Are people looking for a community to be a part of? Are people trying to find a way to follow the commandments? What is it that people want? And then as Christians, we can say, how do we give that to them? How do we show them how Jesus gives that to them? Because I believe that we don't have to change the message of the gospel. We just have to personalize it for what people are looking for and what they want. But that's easier said than done, obviously. Or else our church would be huge, and everybody would be Christians. Because I believe Jesus has what we're looking for. It's just, we need to be thinking, what are people looking for? So here's the question, and I would love it if you would comment either under Facebook or on YouTube what are you looking for? What are you looking for from a relationship to Jesus? Or what are you looking for out of life? What are you looking for out of your church? What do you want? And then maybe it can help us here at Emmanuel Lutheran Church to meet those needs, not by watering down the gospel or by changing who Jesus is, but by helping you see what Jesus gives. And even if you don't want to write down your opinions, what are the people in your life? What do they want? It'll help us just to serve you and others better. So again, I want to encourage you all. We have right now at this time of the year, we have Lenten services, and our first Lenten service will start this Wednesday. At 7:30, we go through Holden Evening Prayer, which is a more contemporary service. Well, it's with piano. I guess it's not with the praise team, but it's a singing liturgy, and I think people really seem to appreciate it and enjoy it. And those services last about a half an hour. And then also, you're welcome to come to church on Sunday. We have an 8:30 contemporary service and 10:30 traditional service. First communion classes are between services throughout the month of March for those in 5th grade or up that would like to start taking communion. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless you. Have a great week.